Hi, everybody. Here we are again. Hope you learned some things last time we were together. And I think in review, I just wanted to let you know that one of the things that we talked about most was about how dramatically our food processing has changed in the last, 100 years. And if you look real close at this, you'd see that our products went from, the farm directly to the place they go to be distributed and then to our homes. And today, everything from, you name it, all the chemicals and all the hormones and everything else being fed to our animals, drugs and chemicals in our soils and so on have certainly changed everything about what we're doing with our food today. And it's very difficult now with genetically modified. I wonder how many out there looked into genetically modified foods, GMO, to see if maybe they might want to be more careful about what they're looking for in the way the foods they thought were healthy for them, and then finding out that it really wasn't the complete food that it was. I think I bit off more than I could chew here because there's so much density in what I brought up in skin aging. And, the thing about our company is that we have, in everything that we do from the cellular level. In other words, we want to know that if we come out with something, the corporation for the last 60 years, that is going to have a dramatic impact on your body, your skin, your internal. I mean, the skin's the largest organ that we have, and it protects us, and it contains everything. It keeps everything in a contained fashion unless we have an injury. So we really want to protect our skin. And we're living longer now, and we want to enjoy those later years. I know certainly I do, and I'm sure most of you out there want to do the same. One of the things I have up here is an article that was put in Time magazine not too long ago about the way children, young children or girls especially, are maturing way too fast and too fast getting into early puberty. And I guess the question on the front of the magazine reads, is it hormones? Is it fat? Is it something in the water? Or is it the chemicals in our food? And so it's a big question, isn't it? But it's also proven to be, in many studies, to be a lot of the culprit in how we have milk, for one thing. If you're going to drink milk, I prefer you kind of looking at organic milk. It lasts longer, believe it or not, in the refrigerator, far better for you. Another thing that I wanted to bring up, and I think we're all pretty much aware of it, any of us over 50, that in the United States now, cancer is the #1 killer among children. In fact, just about not too long ago, probably maybe 30 years ago, or maybe 40, it was accidents that were the cause of death in children. That's pretty scary. Isn't this statistic pretty? Even if you can't see the details on this, this is autism in 1979. And now here we are, and this is in 2013, the cases of autism, over 20,000 cases of autism. Now, my grandparents certainly didn't know what autism was, and I certainly had to learn recently what it really was, and people are still trying to figure out what it is, but I have a feeling it might have something to do with what we're doing in our environment. Another thing, too, is ADHD, and we see so much of that in the world today, talking about it. Of course, I keep talking about my generation. We didn't know that much about it back then, but in 2003, there were about 18,000 cases. That's in 2003. I wish we had it from way back. But now in 2009, that's not a very long period of time, there were over 64,000 cases of attention deficit. Think about that. Where's it coming from? Do you think it might have something to do with what happens to our food by the time it leaves the farm, and what happens on the farm to our foods and where it's going, and the chemicals? How about vitamins? I mean, now a lot of vitamins out there and you can go and research and Google yourself, but the FDA has a warning that there are over 324 multiple vitamins that contain lead. Always getting lots of supplements here. So yabba yabba do, and top selling children vitamins contains aspartame, GMO, and other hazardous chemicals. So here we are, parents are saying, well, the environment's not too good, so maybe I should be better doing more about supplementing my diet. And here they are trying to do a good thing, maybe buying yada yada do, the Flintstone vitamins, and they're getting probably more contaminants in a contained supplement. That's pretty sad. And Oprah was very proud of what Shaklee was doing back when, and a couple of years back, probably within the last 10 years. And she had Shaklee come board and introduce the Shaklee supplement. I mean, the Shaklee cleaners. Now, here's the thing I wanted to bring to your attention. I think most of you have seen this, the Tide Pods, and you can just Google and see the deaths that have occurred because of people using these Tide Pods. Not only are they very dangerous, I think, for people with COPD or any kind of lung issue, but children they look at it as if it's a piece of candy or something, and swallowed and ingesting it can cause death. So that's pretty scary. We don't need to use harsh things like this. Not only is it bad for people and getting it into their body, but people that use these kinds of products that have allergies and asthma and so on, and you think, well, I'm doing everything I can, but I seem to have more of a problem when I wake up in the morning or when I'm sleeping. And that's because many of the toxins that are in the sheets and towels and so on, you're breathing back in. So you might want to think about that. Now, here is some interesting statistics that I thought you might find fun to look at. And by the way, any of my information I have here, you're welcome to email me and I'll be happy to send this information to you. The chemicals that have been tested, a number of industrial chemicals used in household items add up to about 84,000. And the number that have been actually tested by the FDA, 200 of 84,000. Numbers regulated by the FDA, 5. The last time federal chemical safety laws was updated, 1976. That's over 40 years ago, plus years ago. Pretty scary. This is something, and you see we were talking about a little bit about attention deficit. And here's if you could see this survey, you can't, but as I said, I'll happy to send it to you. It shows a little girl, and they had used Pine Sol and what was the other product? Pine Sol and I think a window cleaning solution. And the little girl was writing, and all of this happened with her writing. It all became totally mixed up, just crazy. And then they took it all away and then just let her write normally, and it was all perfect. And then they brought the chemicals back in, and you could see the difference. So children, their skin, the largest part of our body, is absorbing these kinds of chemicals. This is a letter that a child was writing, and her handwriting was perfect, and then they brought in some chemicals, Clorox, and started cleaning around her, and then the changing in the writing and the way it affected her was dramatic. This is a young girl, Lindsay, who has autism and ADHD. And when the doctor looked at her, he said, I want you to go to the Shaklee company, and I want you to order all their organic cleaners and switch out all the chemicals in the foods, change your diet, and don't use all their products. So she did, and this was back in this November 3rd, 2007, and then back in December. So from November to December, same year, the changes in everything in her body were absolutely dramatic. So it does make a difference, and I have data on this too to show you if you want to see. So anybody who has issues with children who have sensitivities, such as they do with autism and so on, some of the improvements could dramatically happen just by making better choices in the chemicals that they maybe are in their home, the foods that they're eating, and perhaps the supplements they're taking. I came to the company because of that, because I did want to make better choices, and some 40 years later, I'm so glad I did. So these are some of the things that happen when children are exposed. They did the surveys and studies, and it's all documented and the whole bit. Now, what else did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about a product called Vivix. And what happened is that Elizabeth Blackburn was doing a research study on skin aging and cellular aging. It was all involved with cancer research and a lot of different things like that. And that was back, in 1975. And then in 2009, she actually won the Nobel Peace Prize. And what she was finding is that our chromosomes and our DNA deteriorated in people a lot faster than others. And there were these little, what we call telomeres. And if you want to think of what a telomere is, think of a shoestring. And a shoestring can tie the shoe and do all the things it needs to do to keep your feet in the shoe. It starts to fray and starts to go crazy, and you lose the cap off of it, it starts to deteriorate. And that's kind of what, in a layperson's explanation, and I have heavy-duty science and research to give you on all of that. But in the research, she found that the telomeres, if they were longer in people, that their cells, that the chromosomes were saved and you didn't age as fast. So Shakti participated in a study. She came to them and they did the survey. That I was part of the study, by the way. And what we had to do at each of the conventions, go and get our blood drawn and the whole bit. And it's a phenomenal study that lasted 5 years or more. And they did find out that the telomere study, that if the longer the telomeres, the better you age. So what can I tell you about that? Oh boy, I'd have to talk to you in depth about that or send you information so you could learn about yourself. But yes, aging has a lot to do with our chromosomes and has a lot to do with the telomeres that are like the shoestrings that hold it all together. So that is our product called Vivix, and we're going to conference next week, and I am going to be finding out a lot more about the science and research that's going on right now about Vivix, that is medical journaled and peer reviewed and all of that. So we're really, really excited about that. And Vivix is a product that comes from the, I never pronounce this right, the muscadine grapes. And the results in working with Dr. Blackburn and the studies that we wanted to have done required us to go all over the world to find the muscadine grape that would work, because it's just the skin and the seed of it that is used. And guess where we found it? In our state-owned home state of Georgia. So Shakti bought the farm, and now we produce and control and deliver this wonderful product called Vivix, which is amazing for the skin. And there's many other degenerative diseases that ongoing research being conducted right now, where Vivix has played a big part in helping us age better and working with degenerative disease. Another very important part of skin aging is protein, and you got to make sure that you have at least 9 of the amino acids of the protein. Shakti's protein is by far the best out there, and we can prove it. And so if you have any questions on that, but people often ask me, how your skin is so soft, it's so, and most Shakti people who have been in Shakti a long time will have that same appearance. Our skin just looks a little bit stronger. And so if you want to have softer skin, strong, not as loose a skin as we age, our skin sometimes can lose its elasticity, then what you want to do is be looking at probably getting into a really good, strong protein, because sometimes, as we know, what happens to our animals on the way to the farm is not, on the way to the table, is not exactly what we want for in our body, and fighting off degenerative diseases and so on that are out there that we talked about last week. If you remember, we talked about how many of these diseases that people live with could be prevented just by making better choices about the foods we eat, the supplements we take, and the chemicals and such in our home. I'm really excited to say that we have had for about the last 8 years, 20 years, a product called Enfusel, and I never thought there could ever be a product any better than Enfusel. And over the last 8 years, Shakti has been researching this behind it for the cellular level of skin aging. And we're going to find out when we go to conference in Atlanta, the new product that will replace this. And I was really nervous about it because it is an amazing product. It has 8 patents on it. It is beyond anything out there in the skincare world. And lo and behold, Shakti did it the last 8 years. And the problem was it took so long is because every time they came up with something, scientists and research said the product you have right now is better than what you're trying to do. Well, finally they broke through that barrier. And so what we're finding out is that in 7 days you will see amazing results in your skin tissue, men and women. And over the years, guaranteed 10 years younger. Sounds pretty good. But more importantly, it's about preventing cancer and not preventing, but certainly help fighting the onslaught of all the crap that's out there in our environment. Sorry, my friends, but there's a lot of stuff out there we're dealing with internally, externally. So we want to work on the whole big picture. And if I can help you with that, I'll be happy. Again, Health Print is a great thing to do. Find out where you're at and what you're thinking about in making changes in your life, making smarter choices for today's lifestyle. We'll get you, I can't wait to get back and tell you about all the new stuff coming up. We'll see you later. I forgot to do that. I'm still on? Oh, well, I just want to add one more thing, basic age. This one little product, this one tiny little thing will replace all these types of sprays. In other words, one bottle of our basic age, it's a really small bottle, will replace 5,840 bottles of Windex. Think you're going to save some money? If for nothing else, you're going to save a lot of money not using chemicals. So that's it. We're learning still how to do this. Is that it?
On the red spot.